we're live. It's hard to tell sometimes. Yep, looks good. Okay, so Stream. We're back. It's Broken Bane. We haven't played in a hot minute. I would like to point your eyes to Aaliyah's new art by Randall Hampton. It's gorgeous, and I love it. And I'm very excited about it. And I finally remembered to put it in the template, so there we go. We haven't played for a while, like all of my games. So one of the things I like to do when we get back together is do a group. What do you remember happening? That lets us set the right expectations, right? So I'm not sitting here thinking, oh, of course they remember this. And they're not sitting there thinking, am I missing something? We kind of all operate on the same page. That also allows us to, like, if none of us remember something the same way, we can be like, okay, this is what it is moving forward. So it's just helpful to align on that. Then what I'll do is I'll check in with each individual player, and I'll ask them what their character's thoughts are, and we'll just have a short conversation on, like, where they are at the moment. This is an effort to get everybody sort of, like, in the right frame of mind of their character. Does that all make sense? Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay. So, without further ado, what do you all remember from the last time we played?
I've only just met everyone about 2 days ago, but it feels like weeks.
Right, yep.
And just feels like the longest time. And we're in this town that is famous for making fabric,
right,
of beautiful colors, and it's just the most high quality. And the machinery that they use for the cloth making seems mysteriously competent all on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Although it does require someone to work it. It doesn't quite fit the bodies of the people who work it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're very proud of this machinery. It's the finest in the region. And it turns out that the machinery comes from some caverns.
Right.
So there's some mystery around this.
Right. So we found our note taker. That's Virginia. She writes down all the notes. Yeah, that all sounds right. Anybody remember anything else?
The machinery is failing.
There are a lot of twins and triplets in this town.
Yep, twins and triplets, and the machinery is failing. Yep. So that's a concern everybody's having.
And weren't there people who had gone missing in the caverns?
Yes, I believe they mentioned, I can't remember if it was like recent. Oh no, wasn't the mayor's son down there?
The mayor had, I think, twin sons.
Right.
Jason and Jeremy. And Jason did not return, and that was 5 years ago.
I named them after
Mayor
real
Brummel.
life twins. I should probably not do that. Sorry, did you say they both disappeared or just one of them?
I thought it was just
right?
Jason did not return. Jeremy is slicked back and clean shaven.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to pretend this was just my memory.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason, who has wild hair and scrubble, he's the one that didn't return.
Got it. Okay.
And people
For some reason, based on reading the role-playing points, I can see that Battle was very suspicious and not eating food for some reason. And now I'm wishing
I forget why you were suspicious. Yeah, I wonder if I took a note.
I don't know, but like 2 of the role-playing point nominations were due to her suspiciousness.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
clearly,
there's just too much dodgy stuff for Battle.
I know that it weirded
Whereas
me out. Yeah.
There was pie involved.
The peaches.
Yeah.
And why there's like so many people that look the same.
Yeah, you were really focused on the twins. The peaches, people really seem to love the peaches and whatnot. And I have a note that says you were feeling sus, wondering what was in the peaches and the port to make a whole town of twins. Like you kept wondering about it, and you think people eating the food and go to the caverns and hallucinate. You think there's something in the peaches.
I'm gonna go in as clear-headed.
That's right. Yes,
Everybody
like you
else can be
refuse
fine,
to.
but I'm
You're
gonna
gonna.
do it.
Yeah,
Don't
everyone
worry.
else can hallucinate about the wild things in the caverns, but you're gonna know what's actually up. Yeah, that sounds right.
Sounds about right. Yeah, that tracks.
Anything else you remember?
There's
People
this
who
like
work with these
council of
looms.
makers.
Oh, hang on. I think we've talked over the
You go,
you
Tyler.
They were
Sorry.
kind of covering the same thing. The guild that
Mhm.
uses these magical looms are having difficulty. Like they keep the devices keep breaking down, or like
Mhm.
what makes them isn't working anymore, and they occasionally want people to go into the cave to check out where, because that's where all of this magical machinery came from. So
Right.
hoping that they can get more of it to study it or get repairs for it in some way.
Yes, we have been quested to go into these caverns by the town leadership, right?
Well, I remember Yume listening in using. What's your bee's
Familiar.
name?
Dandy.
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 Jeez, sorry, my brain is a sieve. And I think. Oh, yeah, the mayor did come ask you. Oh, Battle was also suspicious of the clothing. Was his son wearing clothing from his hand? So Battle wanted a shawl to take with her in case there's like power in it that is needed.
Oh, yeah. From the looms, because none of us
Right.
had clothes from the looms.
And the mayor was
But
really
everybody else did.
confused and was like,
Would
"It's
it be
not magic
better or
cloth."
worse for us if we bring clothing made by them?
Dunno.
What did you say, Yume?
Would it be better or worse for us if we brought clothing that was made by those looms?
Great
If-
question.
If nobody came back who might have been wearing them.
I also have a note that says Winnie is like super determined to figure out what happened to Jason and bring something home to prove what happened to him. And Aaliyah, you did a lot of watching over the last in the last session. Like you were watching the interaction between Winnie and Yume, and you were watching like how Battle was acting, and so you were really interested in all of that. All right, what I wrote. Is that everything you all remember? Because I can go through the learns.
I just remember Aaliyah being like, "Are you people real?"
Yeah.
Like,
And eating the ice cream, like very David
That's
at the dentist. Like,
right.
is this real
Yeah.
life?
I don't think you'd had ice cream before. Maybe that was that a moment.
No, I hadn't experienced sweet people or sweet foods.
Right.
You people are so sweet, kind, and wholesome. Don't worry, there's plenty of time for us to disappoint you and scare you away.
I don't know. Y'all are pretty adorable. Okay, so the things I wrote down that you learned were there are twins and triplets everywhere. And so you think there are strange genetics in this town. Oh my god. You are not Brandel. That's a whole different game. Battle is suspicious of everything. Thinks thing in the cavern is magical, but everyone is under a spell. Aaliyah learned about Winnie through an interaction they had. Yume learned about Yume through a conversation, and you're wondering if they're for real. Like, you had some really nice conversations with them, and you were like, these are not real humanoids. Winnie can tell Aaliyah hasn't experienced a lot of kindness in her life. People who go into the caverns come out changed, fixated on what they saw, but it always changes. So there was, you learn some things where like every time somebody goes in and then if anybody does make it out, they that's all they can talk about for the rest of their lives, and every time they talk about it, it's a little bit different, sort of like a very bad pathological liar, but they are completely convinced, and if you throw a truth spell on them, same thing, right? Like that stuff comes out of their mouth. Everyone loves peaches, or maybe just Aaliyah. Yume is really excited about the prospect of a loom monster. Sometimes you should not say things out loud to your GM.
I totally forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me.
Mm-hmm. I also just have a note here that is written not in any contextual way that I have context about what it means, and it's in quotes, which usually indicates somebody said it out loud and we all found it hilarious, or at least I did. And in quotes, it just says sheep bits. That's it.
I think what happened was I had asked for some food for Shy,
Mm-hmm.
and the server brought sheep bits.
Mm-hmm.
Just sheep bits. For
I mean,
the dog.
that sounds right. I also have written down. Oh, there's the open arm game in front of the cavern, so the kids will run up to close to the cavern and with their back to it and hold their arms out, for like the longest count and then blah blah blah. You learned about things people saw in the caverns, which I didn't write down, so I hope someone remembers what people saw in the caverns. Winnie says peaches make her sad. Don't remember why, but I wrote it down, so it's canon. The mayor will bring them a cog or some sort of gear of the loom metal so that you have an example of what the loom metal is, and a shawl. Aaliyah really likes sweet stuff, and it looks like a V, but I think it's a Y. Yume doesn't. Is that true? Does Yume not like sweet stuff?
That is not true.
Oh, who's V then? Maybe it's Virginia. Do you not like sweet stuff?
You know what? It's me in real life.
It's you in real life.
Mhm.
Okay, confusing.
I'm more of a French fry than an ice cream gal.
There are two potential theories. We were talking about that earlier. There are two potential theories of what's in the caverns. Either one theory is a malevolent spirit, and another theory is an eccentric weirdo. Yume gets very happy when other people around her enjoy good food. It's important to be fed and good food, and you're worried when someone isn't eating, so you've been worried about Babel this whole time. Now, stream. At the end, when we decide to say that's where we're going to leave it for the evening, I start to ask the players what they learned, and I write that down. It helps us memory-wise. Some of us have very bad memories, like me. So it helps with that. And it helps for me to write it down in the players' language, because if I can't remember what a note means, sometimes they will, because they remember the phrasing. Then what I do is I go into role-playing moments. So what I ask the players to do during the game is to keep a lookout for good role-playing moments. It doesn't have to be a character being funny or even happy. It can be sad. It can be poignant. It can be angry. But if it's a good role-playing moment, if a player really is able to do something with their character that just really hits home, save it at the end of the game. I write them all down. I write the ones down that the players nominate. I also write down anything the chat nominates, as long as you're being polite. And then the players will vote on which one they feel was the best, and then that player gets a role-playing moment, they get to re-roll a d20. I believe a couple of sessions ago, they get to re-roll a d20 in their next game. I think a couple of sessions ago we decided that it's okay to give your role-playing point to somebody else. Is that true? Yeah? Cool. Great. Then I've done it in all of my games, and now I don't have to keep asking that. That's good. I convinced the other two games to do it as well. So at the end of the session, when I say, what'd you all learn, that's a good time to start typing into chat what you think a good role-playing moment is. All right. So last session, our role-playing moments were... I might still get ice cream. I'm totally going to eat ice cream on stream, and I don't want to talk about it. So our role-playing moments were... one was Winnie's sad peach. Oh, do you remember why you don't like peaches, or peaches make you sad?
Yes.
Can you just remind me of that, please?
I don't know if I told everybody. Did I?
Okay,
I might have
you
said
don't have
after
to.
the game.
You don't have to.
It's a character backstory thing.
Okay.
I don't know if I've revealed it yet.
That's okay.
You were a little mysterious.
Okay, we'll keep
That
that
is kind of
mysterious.
how you left it, like leaving us curious.
That's good. We can reveal more later. Yume scooting over to Winnie, I think when Winnie was sad about peaches. That's what took the role-playing point. So Yume's got a role-playing point today. Another good one was, I mean, they're all good, but another one was Battle surreptitiously avoiding the food. Has not forgotten glowing green. Oh, that was another reason you were suspicious. This is the last time you ate something without, like, being able to see where it came from. You turned green. I forgot about that. That was a deck of
Just
one.
coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Battle's suspicious in general. And Aaliyah's first encounter with ice cream, not knowing what it was. Oh, and you were embarrassed to eat in front of other people, so you put your hood up. And I think Yume distracted everybody by asking how it was made or something like that. It's very cute. Oh, and then after the fact, one of you decided that you might need the RP point for the loom monster. Which I think is good. Okay, so that's what we all remember. That's what we all wrote down. Anything you want to add before we get going? Okay, I want to add really quickly just some highlight context. So, Yume, Winnie, and Battle have just gotten off of a train. Freya, who was your previous traveling companion, has disappeared, but left a note, I think in Battle's pocket? Somebody's pocket, that explains that I get ice cream. Thank you, my love. I'm not supposed to eat this, so don't tell my
I wish
doctor.
So, for those who didn't just see her face, the way she just smiled over the bowl, she received a bowl of ice cream out of the upper corner from Luth, and the way she just smiled and crouched over the ice cream was the sweetest thing I've seen in a while.
I'm not allowed to have ice cream, so when I get to have it, I'm so excited about it.
I love the internet.
So, yeah, and now the internet knows that I love ice cream. And no, I will not eat ice cream that somebody just randomly sends me, so don't bother. Somebody did actually, like, walk up to me at a convention once, and they were like, I think I saw you like ice cream, so here you go. And I was like, I don't know you? So thanks, but no. Okay.
Major Battle vibes.
Yeah, exactly. I was channeling Battle. I forgot what I was saying stream-wise.
You said we were doing, like,
right, I was doing a recap.
Check-in.
Right. So Freya left you a note saying she had to go do something and she'd pop in later, kind of thing. Then I forget why you traveled to this town, but you did. I don't remember whether you heard.
It was where the train stopped, wasn't it?
Just where the train stopped?
That's what I thought.
Okay, and then you
I think so.
and then you went to
I don't think we had a purpose to come here specifically. It was just the next stop after we saved the aspect of
right.
the patron.
Right. Okay, so you just went to an inn and then just heard about the troubles in the town? Is that what happened?
Mm-hmm.
I love players that are just
I
yes,
met them
I'll
at
go
the train
along.
station.
Oh, why did you meet them at the train station? Do you remember?
I had heard about this group of people who were on this train, and I knew the train disembarked at this station, and I was interested in people who traveled supposedly just for the purpose of doing good.
Yeah, that seemed very strange to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Something I'm exploring.
Okay. And so you hear in this town, very well known for its textiles, very well known for its looms that are almost seem to be magical in nature. Oh, I do want to. No, that's my ice cream.
No, kitty.
Was your cat licking your ice cream?
He was gonna try.
You didn't yet, though.
No, I got to it first. He's smart enough to know that I'm gonna yell at him anyway, so he does this thing where he like hovers, and one of the kittens will like push her face out with her eyes closed, as if she's expecting to be like whapped. We do not whap our pets. You know, it's like a pick up, set down, or yell about ice cream kind of thing. Make sure those are the right ones. Okay, now the overlay should be correct. Right, so you've heard about these looms. They almost seem to be magical in nature. The cloth is very high quality. It goes for lots of money, kind of thing. The inn you're staying in is run by the sister of a guild master for a loomery or whatever. I think you all got a tour. You were able to notice some of the tension. There was a guild master's meeting. That's where you met another sister of the guild master and the innkeeper, which is where you saw triplets, because they all look the same. That's where Yume used Dandy to kind of listen in. That's where you found out like there's some sort of big problem, and they think the only way to fix it is to find some sort of tool or something from the caverns, because that's where the machinery originally came from. You hear a lot of stories about like this has not happened before. This is kind of new. People have gone into the caverns before because caverns and rumors, and a lot of them didn't come out, and the ones that did, again, were very obsessed with what they saw, but what they saw always changed. And then I don't remember why the mayor's son went down. I don't know whether he went down just to check things out, or whether he went specifically for the part. Does anybody remember? Good. So we'll say he went down for adventure reasons and not specifically for the part. That'll remain a new task.
Didn't we say that sometimes townspeople would go in there and play the game? Like, I think kids were talking about also playing the mind game, where like they'd go in there until they saw something, kind of like a Bloody Mary game kind of a thing.
I don't remember, but that
That
sounds
sounds
good.
familiar.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll take that.
Sure.
No.
Cannon.
Cave chicken.
Cave chicken. And then the mayor came and officially asked you if y'all would do them the favor of adventuring. I believe he promised a reward of some kind. Don't remember what it was. Oh,
Didn't he promise us really cool like weaponry or something, or tools, and then we could keep them if we were successful and came back? He said he was going to give us something, and then we'd have to return it. Or was that a different
he was going to give you
game? That might have been
a different game.
that might have been Quest.
He's going to give you a piece of the machinery so you recognize the metal, because he was telling you need to go down there and find tools that match this metal. I think he said anything you find down there that isn't the tool that will fix the loom, you can absolutely keep, and then they'll pay you a fee on top of it, I think is what he said.
I thought there might have been some gifting of clothes, though, because Battle, didn't you ask for clothes? And they were like, sure, you can keep these, like, if you figure out what's going on or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just asked for some kind of fabric, and then that sounds logical. I don't think any of us particularly cared about the reward as much as like hopping onto this is important to Winnie to like look for the lost son, and we wanted to help. So
Yeah.
cool
Okay.
for rewards, but we're here for the
So-
trip.
Yeah, sometimes people are very focused on that. I have to keep reminding myself that y'all are really focused on like, someone needs saving. The whole town needs saving. We can do it. All right,
That's
so
why we were founded.
that is why you were founded. Yeah, I specifically came to you and said, "Hi, I want to start a campaign where everybody is honest to God heroes." All right, so that's where we're at. Now, y'all are in the inn. The mayor has left because I say so, and the innkeeper is busy because the inn is busy, so she's running around. She's keeping an eye on you, so if anybody needs anything, go for it. I believe they have a peach port in this place that is quite good, but they also have a peach ale. I'm just gonna lean in to the peachiness. And y'all are left to talk amongst yourselves. You can go to bed. They're gonna bring by the gear and the shawl in the morning, so that's probably when y'all will head out. So I'll does anybody want to? I want to check in with each character to see what they're thinking about the events that have passed and what they're thinking about what's going to happen next. Does anyone want to volunteer? Do you want me to just randomly pick one of you? Cool. Battle. What's Battle thinking?
So
You made the most movement, so it's you.
I did a shruggy, hands up, elbows down, shaky motion. So I think that Battle's probably feeling keyed up, a little nervous, probably a little hungry, eating from her like journeying rations or something, because she's refusing flat out to eat some of this peach stuff.
Right.
Or maybe she pocketed a few sheep bits to fry up later.
Ew.
Yeah. It's not pretty, but she'd rather avoid the peaches. And I think she's probably just very curious and apprehensive about the town and just kind of on alert. I'd imagine that Shy is probably mirroring this energy, or an alternative, potentially seeking to comfort her because she's anxious.
What if Shy was doing? What if Shy was like simultaneously eating sheep bits and then turning to you, seeing that you're still anxious or high energy or however you want to put it, and will put her head in your lap as
Yeah.
like, and then like you continue to be the energy you are, and she'll be like, I'm just gonna another couple mouthfuls. You're still doing your thing. Okay, I'll put my head back in your lap, kind of thing.
And Ren is probably just taking in all of the action. As usual.
Definitely.
So I'd say that's where she's at. Just kind of ready to go already.
Got it. Okay. Who's up next? How's Winnie feeling?
I think Winnie is being very quiet and reflective and like I don't know how to explain it. Like, this is a situation that has some familiarity to her, and so she's kind of like straddling the line between past and present and kind of wrestling with all the emotions that kind of dredges up, and just wants to stay focused as much as possible on like this current mission, and like that it could have like a happy ending potentially in terms of like finding everybody and saving the town and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Okay. Is there yeah, I think that about covers it. Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Cool. Who's up next? Okay, Yume. What is on Yume's mind?
A bit of a knot in her stomach, and she's feeling a little bit like stirring quite a bit, doing busy work that she can find, just picking up here and there, just helping out in little ways, trying to keep her mind occupied.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's not one to. She's kind of a busy person. Like, she doesn't like to just sit around and do nothing. Like, she takes action whenever possible. She's definitely thinking about how she's more used to, like, less industry-related stuff and more, like, I don't know what the proper term is. More, like, upkeep, cleaning, and, like, garden-type work.
Okay, yeah.
She's a little, like, it's not out of her depth necessarily, because, like, all of adventuring is very new, but it's just a little bit different of a setting, so she's pondering that a bit.
So like the like warehouse and the like the big warehouses with the big loom machinery and like the sort of that kind of work and aiding in that is a little bit different for her.
She's done a lot more in the way of like social skills and communicating and like delicate like food and garden work, less than working with machines.
Yeah,
so,
machinery repair is not her thing.
Very fascinated by the looms, but it's still a little bit new, a little fresh. So she's mulling that over, and nervous because she's feeling everyone, like, this town is, maybe not the whole town, but at least the people at the, what do we call it, the factory? Mill? The loom place?
Yeah, the loom place. I don't remember.
The loom place. They're not doing so great. Everybody's kind of anxious and nervous and wants things fixed. And that's understandable. So she's kind of absorbing some of that. Like, I want to fix it already. Hope we're gonna do okay. So just kind of, like, when she's jumping into it, it'll soothe out a little bit. But
yeah, that makes sense, right? She's I think of Yume as an empath in a lot of ways. Like, she takes in a lot of the energy around her and uses it to fix things or do something about it. And I don't see Yume as the dithering type, but more of the, okay, this is the next step kind of thing. But the next step isn't until the next morning, so she's kind of doing fill-in work. Okay. And then Aaliyah. What's it been like spending a day with real live humanoids who are nice to each other and care about other humanoids? What's on her mind?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like I've known them much longer. I am fairly confident I'm going to be of service in some way when we do travel to the caves. So I'm not really worried about that, or I'm equally curious about the caves as I am about learning about this new group that I'm traveling with. And so my attention is evenly split. I'm very curious and observant, but at the same time, I don't know how much I'm emotionally invested yet, although these people giving me ice cream, that was a big deal.
It is a big deal.
And I'm aware that I was a little vulnerable in the way I made it clear that this was a rather rapturous occasion. So, but very logically for me, you know, it's time to rest so that I'm ready for the excursion tomorrow to the caves.
Right, because this is something you're used to, like going out on missions and type things. So you know the night before you need to do rest and stuff.
This is just right.
Okay, that's actually the next thing I wanted to touch on. Y'all, we very deliberately are going to start out the next morning once you receive the gear and the shawl. So when you're back in your rooms, what does anybody have a ritual or a process for how they are going to ready themselves for the next day? Is there anything specific anyone's doing? I'm thinking of like, some characters do like little yoga type things to get their chi aligned or whatever. You might drink a special cup of tea the night before, or you might lay out all of your weapons and make sure they're clean and you have what you need but not too much more, or you have everything. Maybe you have a lucky knife that you have to make sure you have. Maybe there's a last minute bit of research you want to do, like anything like that anybody's thinking about?
I think Yume would just find a beam of sunlight somewhere coming through a window or whatever and sit by it. Maybe sit on the floor and just look up over the windowsill and commune with the queen for a little while. And this isn't necessarily how mechanics work for warlocks for this game, but like kind of praying-ish,
I think
kind of asking / acknowledging like, hey, I kind of need some help with more, like, things might be dangerous today, hoping for a little more power in like the fighting sense and less of a overcoming like social challenges or puzzles, or it might be a little more fighty today. Can you help me out with that?
Need some more fighty stuff. I think your patron does talk to you directly sometimes, but I also, what do you think about your patron giving you impressions other times? Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, here, what I can imagine is the impressions you'd be getting from your patron are to not be afraid of the dark because you carry light. Remind you that there's strength in your pack / hive / team / that kind of concept. Is your patron the kind of, do you have a relationship with your patron where they expect you to do as much as you can and then they'll step in, like they're not just going to save the day kind of thing? Or do you think they're over eager in helping?
I don't think there's that much of a, like, they do communicate, in more subtle ways, but I don't think that's really been established quite yet.
Got it. Okay.
What I can say is maybe like Yume has to be a go-getter about things. Like she definitely doesn't like sit and wait. Like there is an exchange. She's given this power to do things with,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure if I answered your question properly. But she's not like waiting around for it.
You did. I was gonna go down a path I'm not going to. It hasn't been established yet. That's fine. So don't be afraid of the dark. You are the light, or you carry the light. There's strength in the group, and then I think the third thing she would sort of impress upon you is like a gentle, of course, like you asked for something, and like you have that kind of relationship. I think. Yeah. Anything else you'd be doing to? Yeah. Go ahead.
Just kind of sitting on that, finishing that little session of meditation, realizing that she's like ready to go for the day. She'll just boop on Dandy, like cast the light on him, just let him fly around, shining light everywhere for a little bit to acknowledge, like, yep, we got light.
I love Dandy
Everything's
being a
gonna be
nightlight.
bright.
I want a Dandy nightlight now. I really do.
That's all.
Okay, that's good. I really like that imagery, the sunbeam and the restfulness and the mindfulness, checking in with yourself and your patron. I love that. Anybody else have something they do before going off and doing daring things? Yeah.
I very matter-of-factly go through my inventory. I check my daggers, check my darts, and where I normally wear my hair sort of pulled back and covered with a hood, I'm going to do some braids either side so that it's not in my eyes, but I'm actually going to take my hood down and wear my bright red hair down, strap my wrists, and just very pragmatically get ready to go. Mostly drink a massive cup of coffee as well.
Yep. Braids along the two sides, you said, like through the temples?
Yeah, it's really just, there might even be like one sort of across the crown of my head. It's about keeping my hair out of my face so I'm ready to fight, but there's a difference in the way I wear it on days like this.
Right, and I think the big distinction, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the big distinction is the hood is down, your hair is visible.
Yeah, normally my hair is somewhat certainly not on display in the same way.
Right. And you said you wrap your wrists?
I do, just kind of like a, getting ready for combat.
Yep, I just wanted to check that I heard that right.
Just a readiness. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. Anything else? Any like mantras or come on, you can do it, or?
Nope, that's it.
Got it. Okay.
Just super matter of fact.
Okay. Winning your battle? You got anything you do to prepare?
I feel like Battle cleans her weapons and makes sure that everything is just so, a habit she picked up when she used to be a mortician.
Mm-hmm.
And so she makes sure all of her tools and such are clean and organized. I think she's probably also packing away some food just in case they come upon somebody.
What? Like to feed somebody else? Like if somebody's starving, you want to be able to feed a fifth person? I like that. That's a nice thought. If you're going and hoping to find somebody, they're obviously going to be hungry.
All else fails, I don't think Shy would be upset about an extra meal.
No. I don't think it'll go to waste.
No.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, I think she's pretty cut and dry as well.
I like the connection to the life she led before, right? Like as a mortician, you need your tools to be in the right place as you're doing what you're doing, because there's efficiency there that you need, and cleanliness, and just a just so that really affects your style now. I think that works really well. And Winnie, what do you do to prepare?
I think Winnie definitely is going to be sharpening her great axe in preparation for whatever they may face, provided it is something that can be
Smashed.
pummeled
Mhm.
and smashed. But I think while she's sharpening her great axe, she's looking at this carving of a rose that is on the handle of the great axe that's like underneath some of the like grip that's normally hidden, but she kind of like unwraps the grip a little bit to like look at it while she sharpens. And then looks over at her bag and kind of puts her axe down for a second and rummages around in the bag for this little like pouch where she takes out a necklace that has a very similar looking rose on it, like gilded, not gelded. I'm such a horse person. Gilded out of like silver and with some kind of like sapphire almost. It's like blue. And it's this really pretty necklace. And she just kind of like sighs really heavily and like kisses the necklace and then puts it back in the pouch and like puts it carefully back in her pack and then goes back to her weapons.
Got it. That's a really interesting moment. I think Winnie, it's very clear Winnie is processing something and thinking a lot about her past. I think that's a really tangible way to show that, right? Like the having something physical to be able to like pull out, look at. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay. Is this something that Winnie would keep with her at all times, or would she leave this in the room when she goes down into the caverns?
Oh no, it goes with it.
Asks the GM. Okay, cool. All right, so you're all prepared. You're all ready. It's the next morning. We'll say you've been fed. The mayor has been and gone, unless you want to ask him some questions, and dropped off a gear and a shawl. This shawl is this really interesting, like rose pink, and it looks like the threads have been wound in a way where there's like a very, very slightly lighter pink with like a pattern, like a sort of a geometric pattern through it, and it is the softest shawl you've ever touched in your life. And you're ready to go. Unless you wanted to ask the mayor any questions. No questions?
Did the mayor give us the cog as well?
Yes, he gave you a cog as well. And I, for simplicity's sake, am gonna say it's a cog. It's got a little opening in the middle, and then around the edge it's got, little metal teeth that would fit into another cog. If anybody want to look at it more closely, the cog or the shawl?
Were they given to Battle because Battle requested them?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
I think part of me wants to see if anyone can use detect magic on the shawl or the cog. Because I know that Battle doesn't have this ability. But if anyone, I think I'm holding on to that thought though until we leave the mayor because I don't want to be rude.
No, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone. Okay, cool. So then, I think I
He's
just
gone.
told everybody, say, can anybody take a peek at this to see if there's any magic on it? Either thing.
I mean, I have detect magic, but I'm worried we may need it later.
Fair. That's fair.
I don't know if it's worth it to burn it on a shawl right now when there may be more dangerous things ahead.
Good thought. Okay.
You could roll perception or an arcana check.
Okay.
You don't necessarily need to use detect magic. So like if you're proficient in arcana or perception, that would be a good thing to roll, I think.
No, I think I'm gonna risk it.
Can I?
Just
Huh?
risk it by not checking and just taking them with you.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
What's Leo want to do?
I was gonna follow the lead of Battle if Battle was looking at the items, but I don't think I'm enough part of the group that I'd say anything right now, so I'm just gonna go with it.
Got it. Okay. An adventuring party who's going to take 2 random things from a GM, not inspect them, and walk into caverns. That sounds fine.
And roll initiative. The shawl was a mimic.
Ah!
I had a very long and interesting conversation with another GM about mimics the other day, and I now have opinions, and they will be expressed in some game that I run. We are at about the halfway point, and it might be a decent time to take a break because cliffhanger. What does one do? When we come back, we'll head into the caverns, maybe, depending. I can never tell with y'all. Once I thought you were going to go into a train and you didn't, so who knows? You can do. I'll give you a whole town to run around in. So, I'm thinking a 5-minute break or a 10-minute break. Opinions? Does anybody
would
need
like
to take
10.
a dog out? 10 it is. Okay, so 10 minutes past the hour stream. Join us back here. I'm not going to end the stream. I'm just going to put up a break screen. So we will see you all in 10 minutes. Thanks, stream. Hi, stream. I think we're back. Nope, I picked the wrong one. Hang on. There we go. Hi, stream. I think, yes, this is the correct one. We're in Broken Bane. Okay, so we're back. You have the cog and the shawl. You know where the caverns are, and y'all are ready to leave the inn. You've been fed. Anything you want to do before you head out? Okay, so you start walking along. Do you all think you head out like really early in the morning or sort of like mid-morning?
I feel like
We
we go
anticipate
right.
I'm
earlier.
ready really early.
Really early? Seems to be the consensus. Okay.
Yep.
So what you're gonna see on the streets are like a lot of yawning, right? Like the folks that are gonna get up very early for work. Maybe, excuse me, I said yawning and then yawned. Maybe like a change of the guard on the on the entrance to the town. Probably you pass a bakery that's pretty active this early in the morning. Very few I'd say very few like kids running around on errands and stuff. But actually, as you take a turn out of town, because the entrance to the caverns, like the path to the caverns, isn't like, your second left on the right. It's gonna be, I just said second left on the right, which doesn't make any sense. I just realized, and it doesn't matter. It's gonna be like you leave town and there's this, faint path that starts by the juniper tree, and you can tell it's the juniper tree by the way it smells, and you go up that path 100 yards and there's a hole in the ground, it's that kind of thing. So as you're taking the road out of town towards this path, you do run across 2 sets of triplets, and they're jumping rope, and they're about, how old do kids have to be to jump rope? Like 8? 7?
I was jumping rope at like 5.
Yeah.
Let's call it 7, because they're going to be jumping
You were
rope.
advanced, man.
They're going to be jumping. Yeah, I actually still cannot jump rope. So they're going to be jumping rope, and they're going to be chanting a rhyme as they're jumping rope. So it's like keeping time. And so the rhyme they are chanting is space and time, wind and unwind, spinning and stirring, incomplete, until you find hands that point, gears a whirring, can't get out without time. And then they keep over and over again. It just seems like a rhyme.
And obviously they say that again for people who didn't catch it the first time, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to say it a little bit slower for anybody that wants to write this down. And I have it written down, so if you're like, what was that rhyme? I can be like, hold please, and I can pull it up again. So the rhyme that you hear is space and time, wind and unwind, spinning and stirring, incomplete, until you find hands that point, gears a whirring, like the noise, not like whirring, whirring, can't get out without time. Excuse me.
It's multi-dimensional.
Multi-dimensional. Got that?
Can you say it one more time?
I do.
Yes.
Does anyone have a clock? A watch?
Space and time, wind and unwind, spinning and stirring, incomplete, until you find hands that point, gears a whirring, can't get out without time. Good. I will also type this into our session chat at the end of the evening. I should have typed that out during our break, and I didn't. I am very sorry. Actually, if you would like me to, I can type that in really quickly now. Does anybody need that? Yes, okay. One moment. Do. Rope skipping.
So I think I literally would like listen to this and then I'd like kind of look around and be like, does anyone have a watch? And nobody does?
No.
Not
I
sure
just
there's
pay attention
anything
to
we
where the
can
sun
do
is,
about that
usually.
now.
What was that, Yume?
I just pay attention to where the sun is usually.
For some
Is
reason,
there
I now
anyone I
have
can
that.
borrow a pocket watch off as we walk to the cave?
Are you gonna stop like bystanders, like people you're passing on the street, and be like, "Do you have a watch?"
Kinda. I mean, I'm wondering like if anyone was seeing us off, right? Like, so if one of the sisters was there, I might say to them, "Could we borrow a pocket watch for this journey?"
You're actually you're just on your own. Nobody's going with you. They gave you directions and these
Okay.
bits and bobs, and then waved. You know.
Then I
Hear
don't
this
say
time.
anything, and I wonder what Winnie was about to say.
Yes.
Oh, Winnie wasn't about to say anything, but Winnie's player was about to say, I now have that song. I think it's from The Sword and the Stone. It's like to and fro, stop and go. That's what makes the world go around. You guys remember that song?
Yeah, I do. So somebody wrote this for me because I am terrible at this kind of thing. I actually collaborated with somebody on some of this stuff. Her, she's wonderful. Thank you, Rosie. And she just typed it out, so she didn't actually like chant it at me. And as I've previously mentioned, I am terrible at these things, so the rhythm was probably very strange. I do not write songs on purpose. So yeah, if you want to put a rhythm to it, that I was seeing this more as like when you read a book and they have like written lyrics and it just happens to be whatever's in your head. So like right now, most of my anytime I'm reading a book with a lot of songs in it, and all of the songs somehow match to sea shanty rhythms. So fill in whatever you'd like. Okay, so you continue on. Yes.
You said
Battle.
the kids are skipping rope to this?
Yes.
Then it makes sense that it'd be on a rhythm.
Yes. It
For
would.
what that's worth.
Yes, I really want you all to imagine that it was on a rhythm that made sense for skipping rope. And I would like you to fill in that piece of information for yourself because the human running this game can't do it. And you're allowed to do that, folks. If you're not a good singer, you can't do an accent. You can say, "This guy has a rough accent. This gal uses his sing-song voice. These kids are chanting the following." You can do that, and hopefully your players will be like, "Okay," and not be like, "That sucks. Chant it. Make a rhythm." All right. Okay. So. You continue on. As you get further out of town, the fewer people you're going to see. Not that you were seeing many in the first place. You are going to cross one of those, like, itty-bitty stone bridges. Like, why did they even put this here? There's just a trickle of water. You could have just stepped over it. And it's fairly narrow. It's not even something they put there to drive a cart over. It's just like a walking little stone arched bridge, and it looks like too nicely made for just a walking path for a skip over a stream. One of those. And then you go along a little further, and as you're getting further into the mountains, right? Like the town of Worneer is the town of Worneer is it's nestled right at the base of these mountains that sort of rear up behind them. So as soon as you get out of town, you're in the foothills. As soon as you go a little further, you're kind of in the mountains. And in fact, the road that you're on that's dwindling out of existence as you continue it winds around this foothill and winds around this foothill to the right, then goes back to the left, and you're suddenly like in between two almost huge peaks. And you smell this scent of juniper, which is kind of a sharp, astringent smell as far as I know. And there's a twisted old juniper tree reaching over the road, and you can see a very faint footpath to the left of the juniper tree, winding up behind it. What are y'all doing?
I'm following these guys.
Okay, we will continue on. I'm gonna stop occasionally so you can be like, I want to do a thing. Like, does anyone want to check for people in the area, or I don't know, check for traps, or cast a spell in preparation for a potentially upcoming battle, anything like that.
No hesitation, running right in.
Got it. We've got a group of I rush right ins. Cool.
I would be at the back scouting the area. Like, I would absolutely be using my training, scouting the area as a matter of fact. So the whole way I'm behind the group, and I'm looking up to the right, to the left, to behind, to in front.
Okay.
That's just my...
I think Winnie is toward the front of the pack, if not leading the pack. Like, let's do this.
I lied. You've reminded me of something that Yume would do, but I have forgotten. I'll cast Mage Armor before we enter.
Yeah, see, one of the reasons I was doing this is we haven't played in a while. So Aaliyah is scouting. Winnie is up front. Let's do this. And Yume casts Mage Armor. Aaliyah, will you please...
Excuse me, I cast Armor of Radiance. Because we've invested so much in these reskinned names for these spells.
I do like the reskinning, though. It just makes me happy because, like, Mage Armor in my head looks like rocks, and when you say Armor of Radiance, I imagine the sunshine, like, skin, to Yume, and Yume has some of my favorite visuals in this game, and I need to find a pet artist that will just draw whatever I ask them to draw. I need to patron an artist. I need to, like, funnel an artist money every month, like back in the old days, so I can just have art generated at whim.
I have ideas. We talk about this later.
Okay. Aaliyah, will you please roll me a perception check? I'm going to have you do 1 for this stretch.
That was a 12.
12 total?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what you...
Sadly.
That's okay. So what you're picking up here is that not a lot of people come up here, right? Like, you heard stories about kids, and it's not like they do that every night. They probably do it, like, a couple times a year, around particular holidays, probably. You're not even seeing this as a place where, like, younglings come to make out or anything like that. Like, nobody comes up here. And the path you're on is quite steep, and so the further you get up, the more you can see behind you. It's difficult to see in front of you, though. Like, you're not able to really get a good look unless you actually scout out in front of them. The juniper tree appears undisturbed except by anything that eats juniper trees, which I don't know. I just think it goes in gin. Which, fun fact, is why it made it into the game today, because I've been drinking gin martinis over the last week. The path, when you head up the path by the juniper tree, you're not really on dirt anymore. You're kind of on, like, worn down stone. And, yeah, okay, so you continue on this path. The way this was described to you is that there's a broken arch into the mountain that is very dark. and it's twice man height. Is how it was described to you, and then the tunnel takes a sharp right. So that's kind of what you're looking for, is a big arch. And as you come along the path, it's right there. It's right where they say it would be. You round a big old boulder, and it is right there. It's about 15 feet high at the pin point, top of the curvy arch thing, and everybody roll me a perception check. I need music to play in the background.
23.
23. That's pretty good. What else we got?
12.
24.
Wait, I need to add.
Okay.
11.
18.
So I heard a 23 and a 24 from Winnie and Aaliyah. So let me cover. Actually, I'll go the other way. So what you notice, would it be safe to say that Yume is particularly attuned to differences in light? Would that be something Yume notices particularly, sort of absent-mindedly?
I don't think so.
Okay, then. What Yume notices is that the arch seems very old. It seems like it's definitely man-made. Seems like it's very old. It's been here forever, or humanoid-made, I should say. And it does appear very dark, about a foot into the opening. So that's what Yume notices. What Battle is picking up with an 18 is that the darkness of the cave, starting that shallowly into it, is very unusual, right? Like the arch isn't curved outward or back, like it's a straight up and down. It looks like somebody actually sort of made this face flat, so it's a very 90-degree angle or whatever that is, straight up and down from the ground, and it's an unusual shadow to be casting, especially at this time of day, because the sun is not straight overhead or anything, and it's a very sharp shadow. What Winnie and Aaliyah are picking up with 23s and 24s, you definitely note everything I've just said, but the particular detail that y'all are going to pick up is there's a very faint appearance of carving in the arch. You appear to see 12 different... Sorry. Yeah. You appear to see 12 different symbols carved at equidistance around this arch. Very faint. Been worn away by sun and rain and stuff.
Wind.
Wind, yes.
Do these look like runes?
They don't. They look like what someone... roll me a history check.
Both of us?
Sure.
Think I know anything about this. I got 3.
They don't look like runes to you, but you're not sure why. What's Aaliyah know?
I got 13.
Okay, so what I think Aaliyah would know is that this looks like somebody's attempt at their own language, right? Like it doesn't look like anything you would recognize. So I think your mind would go to like secret code kind of thing because of the background you have. Would that make sense?
I am proficient in Igpay Atnley.
So I see this and I see the secret code.
Yeah.
That was a 90s reference that most people won't get.
I get it.
What's that? I totally got it, Winnie. I love it. I, though, feel like I would see this. So there's 12. There's 12 around the arch, evenly spaced.
Yep.
But they're the type of scratchings that don't have any imagery in them. They're lines. They look like they're representing characters, representing a language. I can't see any symbolic meaning in them.
Right. 12 distinct geometric type line type.
And right now, the light is in such a way that no one of them is particularly highlighted more than the others.
Correct.
So I would just relay this information that there's 12 of them. I have never seen this before. I don't know what it means. And I guess I would suggest perhaps we throw a rock into the arch before we put our bodies inside, or we poke it with a stick or something, because I don't know what this means.
I really like the idea of Aurelia being like, okay, so you can see these markings, you can't see them, they're there, there's 12 of them, I can't recognize them. Also, we should probably throw a rock into the cave. Like...
Yeah, like very practical, like, look, this is what I see. If I was to make a recommendation, it would be that we don't put anything organic through the gate before we have trialed something we don't mind burning up in.
Winnie just
some
takes
kind
one of her hand
fire,
axes out
for
and just throws it
example.
into the cave.
chucks it into the cave. Okay.
I feel like at this time, Battle is hurriedly putting on the shawl, looking at the doorway, watching, waiting, ripping off the shawl and throwing it on the ground, watching, waiting, shawl back on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would imagine that Yume and Winnie are probably like, what is with these elves these days? Paranoid.
You're not seeing anything different. It is the softest shawl you've ever, bar none, piece of fabric touched ever. And when it's over your arm, it is weirdly pleasing. Like, it matches your skin tone quite well. You know how you put on a color and you're like, ooh, this is my color. It makes my skin look good, my eyes, my face, you know. It's one of those. And you notice that in passing, because it's not really that important.
She finds that all the more suspicious and takes it off frantically while smiling out of the corner of her mouth at Aaliyah.
Following Aaliyah's lead, I think Yume will pick up a rock and cast light on it and then toss it in.
Well, that's a good idea. So the hand axe, when it goes in, makes a particularly teeth grinding noise that you know means that you blunted the edge, because you just chucked a nicely sharpened piece of metal at some rocks. That never goes well, but that's it. The rock that you toss in casts what you know is the usual amount of light. It doesn't seem to be dimmed at all. And what it shows is a cave about... Well, how big is the light range on that?
Oh, geez.
Can we say 30 feet?
I yell
guess,
friend in Elvish as well.
Either 10 bright, 10 dim, or 20 bright, 20 dim.
Okay, I'm gonna say 20. So you can see the cave. This is the entrance to. The edges of the cave start at the arch, go straight back, and then there is what looks like a pile of rubble in the back left corner, and then you do see the cave turning sharply to the right, almost at a 90-degree angle. We are having
So the
it
rod
aside.
and the axe both go through the...
Yeah, they go through just fine. Nothing sizzles, nothing melts. The worst noise you hear is the blunting of a very fine edged axe.
Winnie
So
is just
I'm
going to
I'm
look at
visually...
everybody and sigh, and then just walk in and go grab her axe.
I blunted this
Okay.
axe for you.
Does
Okay.
anything happen when I walk in the cave?
No, nothing happens. You can see a little bit around that corner, thanks to the rock that you may checked in, and it is a very, very slightly downsloping hallway. That where the ceiling seems to come down to about 8 feet, and then continue on into
I'm gonna explain
darkness.
what I see and say, "Let's go."
I think Battle shrugs and follows suit.
Okay.
I think I do like a kind of a resigned like exhale, like a little bit of a snort, like these people are super hasty, they don't have the training I have, whatever, shrug, follows them.
And Yume? Following in as well?
Yes.
Do you pick up your rock?
And I also make a point of remembering these 12 glyphs. I would like you to know that because I have a really good memory.
Can't imagine why you would do that. By the way, I did draw these 12 glyphs, but they made me I didn't do a good job. My GM draws the most beautiful materials in the entire world, and it makes me feel shame as a GM for creating props, which he does not do intentionally. He's a very nice human. But the glyphs I drew look like a kindergartner with a crayon, so I am not going to show you those. I will leave those to your beautiful imaginations.
I'm like increasingly worried that we don't have a pocket watch with us. Pocket clock. But I
think
will
we'll be
deal.
okay.
So I've remembered these 12 images.
Okay, so you're gonna
12
remember
glyphs.
these 12 glyphs. So you all head in. So Yume, I'm sorry, did you pick up that rock?
No, I have no reason to. I can cast light whenever.
Who can see in the dark? Because you're heading into complete darkness. Who can?
I will produce flame.
Well, Aaliyah has dark vision.
I will do it for my friends.
Battle has dark vision.
Oh, sorry.
I'm
I
also-
will cast light again on anything else that we're carrying, but I don't need to pick up a rock. Like, I'll put it on my umbrella.
Got it.
Underdark is the
That's
natural
useful for me,
environment.
'cause
Sorry.
I'm adept in Underdark for my
Oh, is
natural
it?
environment. Mm-hmm.
Oh, good to know.
So I don't know if this counts.
I
It doesn't.
We are
interested
underground
in
and
It
that.
does not. No, Underdark refers to a very particular spot in the earth. Underdark, under this, you are in a cave.
Where the drow live.
Right, you're in a cave. And I'm sorry, Aaliyah, did
And
you
it
say
has
something?
like an eerie light, right?
Yeah.
I would rather not cast flame, so I feel like if Yume or someone else has something to provide us, I'm hanging back.
Yeah. I really like the idea of Yume casting light on the umbrella specifically. I'm trying to work your umbrella in a little
Yeah,
more, so that
agreed.
I would like that. Is that all right? So a very sort of sunshine. I also really like you casting light because we can say that it's a sunshiny, like gentle glow. Because sometimes I've heard light described
Love
as
it.
like a very aesthetic, like grocery store kind of light, and which I hate. So sunshine ball sounds great. Sunshine umbrella. Okay, so we're gonna say you can see stuff, which is great. Now, is light a spell that can be dispelled or like absorbed?
It can be dispelled. It lasts
Good
for
to
an hour if
Okay.
it's not interrupted.
Cool. So, you head down this cavern. Is anybody gonna look around? Are you going to accept you're in a stone cavern, or is anybody gonna look around at anything in particular?
I am continuously scouting the area, looking up, to the right, to the left, behind, underneath people's feet as they walk forward.
Roll me an investigation check.
definitely-
Oh, sorry.
I'm
What do
looking for any kind of signs of other people having come in here,
Mhm.
like dropped items or footprints or
Roll.
anything that might.
you roll me an investigation check as well?
Can't I
I think
roll
Natural
that'll
a
20.
perception check?
Oh my goodness. Sorry, that was a lot of people talking at the same time. Do it again. Battle. What were you gonna say?
I can wait for the other two to go. I was just gonna say Battle's listening very carefully to see if she can hear anything strange, especially since the mechanics in the factory sounded weird.
You roll me a perception check, and Aaliyah, what did you say?
I said, please may I roll you a perception check instead of an investigation?
Yes, because I can see where Winnie is like very specifically looking for signs of humans. You're just sort of like scouting. I can see you doing a perception check. And I don't know. I couldn't tell whether Winnie or Yume also said something at the same time as the other two.
Not I.
Winnie?
I did.
You did. What did you say?
I got a natural 20.
Awesome. I love it when people do that. That means I can give more lore to you.
So 22.
Okay. And what did Aaliyah and Battle get?
Good old dirty 24.
Great. And Aaliyah?
16.
Okay. Aaliyah, what you're
16.
gonna yeah. Aaliyah, what you're gonna see is a stone hallway, but it doesn't look like a natural hallway. It looks sort of excessively humanoid made. Like the walls are very straight, the floor is very straight, the ceiling is very straight. You are in a cube tunnel. Not cube tunnel, square tunnel. Very square tunnel. What Winnie is gonna pick up as you're moving along, and it's not that Aaliyah wouldn't have picked this up. So I'm just gonna tell you what this tunnel looks like. What Winnie and Battle are gonna pick up on is there's no dust. No dust. Another thing that y'all will see is there's damage. It looks like the rock fall that fell in. It wasn't a rock fall. It was like pieces of a wall, a stone wall, kind of fell down, and all the edges are worn off because it's in the entrance to this cave and weather happens. But further down, as y'all are walking, you see a bit of the wall near the ceiling where it looks like maybe water came through and it wore down the edges, and you can see where two pieces of stone were joined. But if you hadn't seen that damage, you wouldn't be able to see the seam. But if you like go up to the wall and like get really close to it and like follow it, you can find a seam, but it is the finest seam of rock joining that you've ever seen. And even the patterns that are in the rock follow between the pieces. It's the strangest thing you've seen. Questions? Okay.
I don't know where what I saw began and ended. Did I notice the seam?
I don't think you would have noticed the seam unless somebody called it out.
Okay.
I think
but I noticed a beautifully straight square tunnel.
Mm-hmm. Actually, perfectly square. So
And
the floor and the walls and the ceiling.
Square. So would it be reasonable for me to ask if anyone has knowledge of dwarven history or lore and thinks this might have been carved by dwarves? And I don't know enough about your world to make sure that's completely relevant.
Oh, it is. Yeah, that's fine.
I was thinking about that a little bit myself, but I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to when my father was telling me those stories. It was back from where his family's from. He kind of gave up stonework to come garden and work with the church.
Well, that's adorable. I love it
maybe,
I love it.
I'm wondering, like, maybe you make him remember something,
yeah,
like,
roll me
by chance.
Yeah, do you want to roll me a history check?
Because her father is a dwarf.
Yeah, I love it when somebody has backstory that isn't, I know exactly what this is because my dad knows, but more of like a, she doesn't know. If she paid more attention, maybe, you know, that kind of thing is funny.
What is this, a history check?
Yeah.
That will be... Oh, I rolled another 11, so that's 15.
Great. I think in the stories you recall your father or your stepfather telling you, one thing that always stood out is that while they were stone workers, what you're seeing in this hallway is not quite dwarven style. You'd be seeing more like carvings. You'd be seeing the stone worked in as natural a way as possible. So it wouldn't be this straight, it would be following, lines in the rock, that kind of thing. That sound right?
It's a little bit too geometric for what dwarven craft would be, but it's all second, third hand. Don't know for sure.
All right. And do Battle and Winnie share the seams and stuff that you've seen and the no dust?
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. So you continue on. You're gonna be Yes.
I just want it to be known that Battle is going to continue paranoidly putting on and taking off this shawl. Not that she thinks it's going to make any difference, but also like periodically looking at the cog and putting on the shawl, and taking off the shawl and looking at the cog, like just kind of like seeing if these tools are useful.
I appreciate you calling that out. I would like to say that at some point you put the shawl on and you forget about it. And the next time you notice it, you realize you've had it on for longer than you thought, and that you're completely comfortable with that thought, which probably makes you super suspicious.
I rip it off the moment that happens and like tuck it in a bag on like Shy's back or something because I don't want to touch it anymore.
You feel very reluctant, and you are not sure that feeling came from you.
I communicate this with the group.
Yeah, maybe
and
you
I
should
would
ignore
notice
that.
this. Like, I'm very interested. Yeah.
And what was
In
that?
fact,
Winnie?
I think I
Oh,
offered
sorry.
to take it.
You offer to take it?
You ate the peaches. I'm already worried about
Carry
your
it,
health.
please. True. I did.
And Winnie, what did you say?
Oh, I just said, yeah, maybe you shouldn't wear that.
I think I reactively drop the cog as well.
Okay.
And maybe since Ren is invincible, if it's small enough or large enough, I put the hole over her head like a silly English collar.
Okay.
The little tortoise.
But yeah, I was just envisioning this in my head and wanting my fictional pet artist to draw this for me. So, I'm gonna back up though before you put this on the turtle. I can't tell whether Tyler is like, y'all are ridiculous, or like, I don't want to be seen with you anymore. Okay, I'm seeing giggles. Okay, so when you dropped the cog, because I think you were probably like in the process of like pulling out the cog when you realize because probably when you pull out the cog, you kind of like switch things out, and that's when you realize your shawl is still on, or like you go to put the cog away. So you drop it, and when it hits the ground, two things happen. One, it doesn't bounce. It hits the ground and stops. And it's not heavy enough to do that. Cog didn't, like, it's not so heavy you would expect it not to bounce on stone, okay? But it doesn't. And two, it sends out this beautiful chime that all of you are focused on, and it seems to be endless, and it does not seem to echo.
The sound is endless.
I would like to think
but it
that I can
doesn't seem
resist
to
this.
echo.
It seems endless, and that like it's a one long pure note, and you can hear it moving away from you, but it's not echoing. It's like a train going by, but the sound sort of moves down the hallway and doesn't echo specifically.
I'd also like to point out, I don't know if this helps or doesn't, but racial traits. I am resistant to being charmed, and magic cannot put me to sleep. So if there's any of that at play, I can't be charmed.
That's a very good reminder. You are not being charmed. It is just such a beautiful sound.
Oh, I think I'm just deeply unsettled.
I know. I'm really excited about this.
Frantically looking at my peers, like.
Last session when you were like, I'm suspicious of everything, and I was like, oof, these caverns are gonna be fun. Seriously, I was looking through my notes and I was like, Battle's gonna hate that, Battle's gonna hate that, Battle's gonna hate that. It's really amused. Okay.
I think at this point, Battle's gonna treat that cog like Bilbo treats the ring at a certain point, where it is too dangerous to touch. Like, it is tempting and simultaneously the most dangerous thing on Earth. Like,
okay. So you don't want to touch it?
I will touch it to protect my friends, but I don't want to touch it.
Is that why you put it on Ren? Are you still going to put it on Ren? Like a fancy English
I don't know
cog?
yet. I want to kind of check in with everybody and see how they're feeling about the sound that it just made and the fact that it just did that funny thing.
It was a really pretty noise. Either this tunnel has really good acoustics, or that's a magical sound.
I hope it wasn't a doorbell. I should not have said that to the GM.
I'm so excited you said that out loud.
If it makes you nervous, Battle, one of us can hold it.
Peaches. Nope. I got it.
Sorry?
You all ate the peaches!
We can let Dandy hold on to it.
That's a good idea. I also want to kind of nudge it with my toe to see if it's kind of like... It looked... The way that you
It
described
gets stuck
it...
to the floor. Yeah.
Like it's a magnet. Or like it's pulled towards.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I kind of want to push at it with my foot. Or like, even not my foot, but like... I want to point at one of Winnie's axes and nudge at it.
Okay. It moves just like the weight you remember being in your hand. I want it to be like the weight of like a coffee mug full of coffee. Okay,
Full?
that's
So heavy. But
yeah,
not
but
that heavy.
but it's not like tungsten gear heavy, right? Like if I drop this on stone, it does bounce, and I know this from experience.
Winnie is just gonna kind of like roll her eyes a little bit and walk over and just pick it up off the ground and just like keep walking forward into the cave. Like, we don't have time for this.
You picked it up?
Yes.
It's cool in your hand. So you continue down the cave, deeper into the caverns. So the hallway is so uniform, it's difficult to... Do any of you have that thing where you know exactly where you are at all times, like, as far as maps go? Good. I have somebody in one of my other campaigns like that. It's a pain in the butt. The hallway is so uniform. It's difficult to tell how long you've been moving, but you're not really tired or hungry yet. At that point, you actually come across a metal beam, and it's almost like an arch, actually, and it has joints it has what look like joints, but not like at the corners of the ceilings. There's one about 2/3 of the way across the ceiling, and there's one about 2 feet off the floor on the left, and there's one about a foot down on the right from the top of the ceiling, and it's the metal that comes out of that joint doesn't go straight down, it goes down to the floor at an angle.
These don't seem to connect in any meaningful way. Like they don't reach each other and connect.
They do. They connect at every point that I described. They connect, and the metal goes straight up one wall and straight across the ceiling, and then it looks like it's going to go straight down for about a foot, and then the rest of that piece of metal that should be going straight down to the floor actually meets the floor at an angle.
Is there any indication of what the purpose of this thing is?
Roll an investigation check.
I think I would too, if that's okay.
Go for it.
13.
It wasn't very good. It was
When-
just an 8.
One thing you do notice is this is the same metal as that cog.
Is there anywhere in this room that that cog might fit?
No. The joints are... So my glasses have this. Most glasses, where the arms of the glasses meet the front of the frames, have little screws. But my glasses have these little joints where the metal sort of like bends into it. Those are the kinds of joints you're looking at here. But they don't appear to move, right? Like they look like they're one with the wall.
I think I asked Winnie if I can borrow the cog
Do
for a
I?
second. Touch it to it. Still want
do
to
you
know
want-
if this is magnetic.
Do you want me to do it? Because I know you didn't want to touch the cog, and I'm already touching it. So
I mean, low key, I don't want anybody touching the cog, so I'd probably want it as an excuse to get it out of your hands so I can get it out of everybody's hands.
What an interesting thing.
I'll just walk over and like tap the cog against the metal and see if anything happens.
You hear a different chime. It's not magnetic, though.
Do we all hear it?
Oh, yeah. It's very pretty.
So
Slightly higher
Battle
pitch.
is familiar with the Underdark. Who else is? Am I? I can't figure it out.
No.
Might have studied it, right? But not experienced it.
One of the ways we would know that off your sheet if it wasn't something that we worked into your backstory in another way is like languages or environments that you might be akin to. Like Battle's a ranger, so she got to pick an environment that she was familiar with, right? And so I don't think, based on your backstory, you would have ever encountered that environment. You would have encountered people from there, but not that environment. I am happy to revisit that, though, offline. If you're like, I want this, we can work something into your backstory. But
No,
why,
that's all good.
what would you have done with it if you were like, yes, I know everything about the Underdark?
Because I'm interested in the Peck and the Sverfneblen, which I can't say.
The what?
Like, are these the
first-
Underdark, the
Sverfneblen.
Underdark dwarves?
Oh!
Yeah, those guys.
Ooh, I know nothing about
Blade
them,
Runner.
which might give a little bit too much away. But
So it's
yeah,
it's nothing to worry about then. Okay.
I hope not. I didn't do any reading on that, so I'm not
I'm
sure.
just wondering who the heck made these tunnels. That's all.
I
But
know.
apparently nothing. So
I know. It's terrible.
Who
It's
or
an
what?
ancient clock god.
As you
find
continue
out.
on, you're gonna find more of these.
you're so close to the money. You're so close to the money, I'm sure.
As you continue on, you find more of these arches or these bracers, and the joints are always in different places.
Oh.
Are we noting this?
I assume. I mean, they're obviously not in the same place, and this is quite strange. The hallway never changes size. It continues on. It appears to be going straight and very slightly down at the same time. You make it a couple more arches, and then you find another gear, but the cog you have is pretty big and like thick. The gear you find is a little more delicate, and it has a symbol scratched into it.
Does this look like the symbols we saw on the outside of the cave?
It does indeed match one of the symbols you found on the outside of the cave.
Am I remembering correctly?
Which
that
one?
the
Because
word
I made a
symbols-
note of where they all were, and sorry. Go ahead, you may.
Am I remembering correctly that there were symbols etched into the machinery at the factory, like on the loom parts?
That sounds right. I'll say yes.
I don't have follow-up to that.
That's okay. Lower. Lower. Aaliyah,
this
it matches the...
Symbol.
Aaliyah, it matches the third
It
one up on
matches
the
the-
left.
I grab a handkerchief after we've all taken a
Okay.
look at it and quickly try to put it in my pack if I can, so nobody touches it.
Oh, Winnie was going for it, so I don't know who's gonna be faster.
Do we want to have a dex roll off?
I have advantage
That's
on
so
dex
cool.
rolls. I am all about that dex roll off.
Okay, roll it.
I have
Roll me.
confidence in this matter.
Roll me a straight dex roll thingy. Just roll a d20 and add your dex modifier, and tell me what you get.
I have advantage on dex saving throws, not dex checks. But anyway, we'll see what happens.
19.
Ooh, let's see. 21.
Okay, so Winnie and Battle both go for it. Battle. What slowed you down was you stopped. You got a handkerchief out, so Winnie got to it before you did.
I'm just going to resign myself to watching Winnie like a hawk.
To get in here and get out as fast as possible. I don't want us to slow down. I don't want us to stall. And if we need to use these gears, I don't want us to sit and debate for 30 minutes about whether or not we should use them, because it could mean the difference between us getting out and us not getting out, and maybe saving people that are in here. So I just want to make sure that these gears are in the right hands to be used effectively and efficiently so we can get out.
I support that and don't want you to die, so I'm just gonna make sure you're okay. Because the peaches already made you sad, and I don't know what else all of these things are going to do.
Peaches didn't make me sad. Peaches were fine.
So to break game for a second, you remember how I couldn't remember when we used to start game? Well, I also can't remember when we usually end. Do we end at like 8:30 or like 9 or like 8? Do we go for 2 hours, 3 hours?
I thought it was it's usually like 45. Like 8:45, I thought.
So we usually go closer to 3 hours. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we go like you've done from 2 1/4 to 2 3/4 usually.
Got it. Okay. So you continue on, and you continue on. You're all still good with continuing on.
Yes.
Okay.
I wanna grab at one of. I'm sorry, y'all. Battle's just super paranoid. I wanna grab at one of the like seams and see if that metal comes off the wall.
Oh, it does not. No.
Okay.
It is very firmly attached. One thing that you
Okay.
do notice is it seems like it's all cast as one piece. It doesn't look like it's been like connected in any way.
Useful.
So you continue on, and you're passing these bracings at regular intervals, and you come across. We'll say one way you can keep time is by how often light wears off the spell. So you're probably on like your third casting of light, and it's just starting to get a little dimmer. And so you're gonna want to cast it again soon. And you see,
So we've been down here for 3 hours.
yeah, and you see, suddenly you see ahead of you there's a figure about 8 inches tall, made out of metal, and it's got a round body and like a very tiny round head, and these spindly arms, and two little wheels, and it is one of its arms looks like it has a little claw on the end, and one of its arms ends in a nub, and it is rubbing at the wall like in a cleaning gesture, but it looks like it's been doing this for millennia, and it's actually sort of dug a divot into the wall, and it looks like it's worn off the end of its hand.
It's like
That
an
was a roller coaster
automaton.
of emotions.
Yes? Sorry, what was that you made?
So that was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
What were those emotions?
Fear of a robot monster, other things in the middle to like pity and how cute it is, but also it's really sad that whatever it's gone through.
Okay. Anything else, or are you going to continue on?
It doesn't
Just
seem to
out of
notice
game
us.
for a second.
Yeah.
Am I the only one, because I'm the oldest, who's remembering that the like after the Wizard of Oz books stuff with the weird robots? Is it just me, or is this really reminiscent of that?
I do not
Just
know
me?
to which you are referring.
I don't know.
Oh, are you
Ah.
talking about like the Return to Oz thing?
Yeah. I think that's it. And there was like a little round robot
Yeah.
with a little round body and a little round head. And he was like
There was this
bronze.
really creepy movie in 1985, 1987 maybe, that was
Yes.
called Return to Oz. Yeah,
With
there
robots?
was
Yes.
like a creepy robot thing.
And it was the creepy robot in it, and maybe our DM watched it and doesn't remember it, and now it's like pushing through.
So,
we're all in trouble.
I am
Oh, it's
obsessed with robots, and I have robot portraits in my hallway. So I love all things robot, and I will tell you where I got the inspiration for this later. But it was not that.
Okay.
How tall is it?
Okay.
8 inches.
I think I stopped
Um,
everybody. Like, arms out. Mom arms, instinctual.
Oh no. I was about to ask you mom arm me before I can go up and talk to it.
Yes. Very nervously.
I mean, if you need to talk to it, be very brief. I don't think it's going to talk to us. It looks like it has a job to do, and it doesn't really seem like it gets distracted easily, so I don't know if there's
I
going to
don't
be
think-
much use for us here.
I think it probably can't talk also, but it's worth a try. Actually, I have an idea. And leaning over Battle's arm, like struggling, trying to squirm out of the way, to no effect. Reach out and summon Dandy out in front of me and have him buzz around to the automaton and see if it has any emotions. Don't know if it's possible, but maybe. If it has a current emotional state.
Hold, please.
Getting existential here.
I'm here for it. What if the robot is Jason?
Oh no!
I did have that thought when she was describing, like, what if they got turned into robots?
So, funny story, if you went to the Mopop Museum in Seattle, Washington, pre-COVID, you might find, I think, that photo in the, like, Hall of Fame of, like, movie stuffs.
Of this robot?
The Return to Oz photo?
Oh, yeah.
Return to Oz was terrifying. It was terrifying.
Yes.
So
I
I'm
feel
not
like
gonna
it
watch
shaped
that.
my childhood.
It was a nightmare movie.
So, what Dandy picks up is what sounds like, what feels like echoes, and less of an emotion other than like the emotion you would have to complete a task without any like dread or excitement, just like I'm going to go do a thing. Like if that were an emotion, that's what he'd be picking up.
Determination.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, but more of a mechanical kind of determination. Like I was given an instruction and I will
Running a
I will do
program.
that.
Okay.
Persistence.
Yeah.
Like white vision.
I didn't watch that
I think-
episode yet. Hush. You have disadvantage on your next d20 roll. I'm kidding.
You sure we can't talk to? Hey, can you hear us? Can you talk?
Yeah, I gently put my arms down. Did Dandy relay this, or did we learn this information?
It
Is that-
doesn't have.
Is
It doesn't
somebody's
really.
is somebody's dog
Sorry, that's my dog.
complaining? Okay, just checking. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't hearing things. I agree, Fury.
It doesn't really feel things like we do, but I think she just leaves it at that. It kinda does, but not like us.
I put my arms down since it doesn't seem to be on alert.
Okay.
I want to also make it clear, I don't think Battle's afraid of this place.
No.
Just really suspicious.
Yes, I think that's been made very clear. I think battle afraid is not something we have particularly seen yet. But battle suspicious is definitely a mood we are familiar with.
Yeah.
It's almost a brand at this point. Which I am here for.
Not stop its work or speak back to us.
I don't think you pick up whether it's that or whether it just doesn't understand you.
Okay.
All right, can we go? Winnie is like visibly impatient.
I just want to check one more thing, and I'll get as close as battle will allow me to, and like crouch low to the ground and like just try to
go
look
ahead.
at it, see if it has any like gear shapes on it, any like divots, like spots where things could go.
No, actually, it appears to be all made of, again, one piece of metal, like it's almost like it's grown in a strange way. The only thing that looks like it's been added are the wheels on the bottom. They're almost a slightly different color, like they were added later or something.
So it's just
Okay.
acting like we're not there.
Yeah. All right, you continue on.
Yes.
Winnie's already trekking on down the yellow brick road.
Great. So you continue on for maybe another hour, and you run across another one of these little doodads. This one has wheels, but it's got a more of a cylinder-shaped body and two little half circles on top of its head, and that's it. And it's just going in circles. And actually, it's worn away the floor in that circle.
Mickey Bot is playing Ring Around the Rosie.
What?
You said it had two balls on its head.
I did, didn't I? I probably shouldn't say that.
It's on wheels.
Never mind. It's happened.
And it's just rolling around in a circle.
Yep.
Can we ask it what its purpose is, or what its programming is, what it's here to do?
You can, but it doesn't respond.
Okay. And as I look around, there's no markings anywhere on the cylindrical robot or the walls, or there's no buttons.
Correct.
Poop.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna keep going.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, you realize that there's a faint... I got a new follower, yay! There's a faint... you can feel air moving up, back the way you came. It's very faint, but it's persistent. It's even. It doesn't increase or decrease. It's just a faint movement of wind. Okay.
Is it directional? Like, is the wind towards the direction we're going, like from outside?
No, the other way.
Pushing outside.
Yes.
which usually, do you think there's a door somewhere? Everyone? There's like, usually air movement in tunnels or caves is an indicator of an entrance or exit.
Mm-hmm.
Or both, right?
And yes, that both exist.
But if
There
we're
has to
only
be some
feeling it
reflection.
now, a door must have just opened.
It wasn't sudden. It was like
Oh,
it's.
yikes.
There's so much that is still here that things are just becoming more clear. So you're not certain whether it just started or whether it's been starting the whole time, and just you've been down here long enough to be sensitive to it.
Okay. But the whole path that we've been on has been one constant direction, like there have been no branching paths.
Correct.
It's also disconcerting that the one path we've been on started with the diversion from the straight path. So like it was.
So you continue on, and the next thing that you come across is another one of those bracings, but instead of the hallway continuing straight on, it actually looks like it opens up to the left and the right, and you can see it continuing on past this room, if you will. And you find in this very narrow room that's perpendicular to your path, you are seeing 2 rows of these little metal dudes, and each one is unique. They all seem to be carrying some bits of rock or some bits of metal. They're going in opposite directions from each other, and if you enter this room, you can see on either far wall there are 2 holes. So there's 4 holes total. So they're going in and out of this room. So the line in front is going from right to left, and the second line is going from left to right. There's only about 6 inches between each little metal dude, and they're moving at a constant pace, like a consistent pace. It's not like super fast, and it's not super slow. It's like they're just moving along.
And they're all holding stuff?
Sorry.
What was your question, Battle?
All of them are holding bits of rock and bits of metal?
Actually, if you look that closely, some of them appear to be holding nothing, but they're still in that line. And it's random. There's like 1 or 2 every now and then. It's not like one line has nothing and one line has a bunch of stuff. It doesn't seem to. There seem to be rocks and bits of it. There's no difference between what the 2 lines are carrying. And what was your question, Aaliyah?
I'm just making sure I'm visualizing this correctly. So, like, on the right is this conveyor belt of small robots going right and left on the side of the corridor. Is there another tunnel on the left? Is there a branching out, or is this just that it bends?
No, I want you to imagine a rectangle.
Okay.
And then the lines of you have approached from the bottom of the rectangle, right in the middle. At the ends of each side of the rectangle, right, like at the long end, in the okay.
I got it.
There's 2 holes in each end, like that. Okay, you see?
Okay.
And then there's lines of. I broke it. Come back. And then there's lines of robots, like you said, the conveyor belt going.
Okay. That's my.
Going. Yes. No. There are no tunnels. It's just a rectangle and then like little holes that they go through. But you can't see the tunnels. They're very small.
Okay.
You'd have to like get in there to see the tunnels.
It's almost like oversized mouse holes.
Yes, it's exactly like oversized mouse holes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, Ray is sending good vibes from Dash. Thank you. That's very exciting. Thank you for following.
Thank you, Ray.
And thank you, Dash.
Yeah.
Do they do the robots appear to visually orient to things? Did they have sight?
Some of them do seem to have eyeballs, kind of. Like eyeball type things.
You may.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be willing to send Dandy into one of these holes?
I was a little nervous about that, but if we don't have any other ideas, I'm willing to try it.
I'm also trying to devise a way that I could theoretically mentally possess Ren. Given she's indestructible.
She is
And
not.
speak through her eyes.
She is not
You've
indestructible.
taken an offhand comment
No.
from Spoon way too seriously.
Oh my god. She's
It
not
said
in.
it on the card.
It also
I've
says she disappeared after an hour, okay? So she's not indestructible, and she's just
I
a
took that
turtle.
as, like, for plot reasons, we're not gonna put this precious animal in danger. That doesn't mean you can throw her into
Right. You can't just...
mechanical danger
And
and
also,
expect nothing to happen.
she is literally just a turtle. I have known turtles. You cannot train them to do anything. Like, it's just a turtle.
We couldn't put her on the head of one of the little... But then, yeah, she might get carried away. That's not good.
Well, she
I was
wouldn't
gonna ask
give
if
you
want to
any
send her in
useful
with Dandy.
information.
But that might be dangerous for her.
And Dandy. I don't want to endanger both of them. I don't want to endanger anybody.
But Dandy will, if he gets hurt, he'll just go back home, and then I can summon him again later.
I think Sarah really wants to go in with this kind of a plan, but Battle would still be in a very paranoid place and be like, heckin' no. So I'm gonna have to make a battle choice and just kind of want to peer in and see what we can see without touching anything.
We
Is this
could
like a dead
continue.
end into this room, or is there?
No,
does the
there's
tunnel
a tunnel continues on the other side.
But
I
we'd
mean-
have to
Wait.
walk over the robots to keep going.
Yep.
Winnie,
And
you've
these...
kind of been taking the lead here. Do you want to continue checking beyond and maybe come back if we need to, or should we check the tunnels?
I do want to say, these robots are a little bit bigger. They're about 1.5 feet tall. For the record.
Can I pick up a rock and throw it into the middle of the room?
There are no rocks. This hallway is completely clean. There's no dust or anything.
Can I use something from my adventurer's pack?
Like a spoon?
I think I would pick up my 7th spoon and throw it into the middle of the room.
You have 7 spoons on you?
I actually do, in my mess kit. It's a very important part of my pack.
So you throw a spoon at one of the robots?
Reluctantly. No, in the middle of the robots. I'm seeing if they react to it.
They do not.
I feel like I'm having to hold back Shy. Because Shy is probably wanting to chase these robots back and forth.
I feel like Shy's fairly well trained, so she might be like, "Mama, please let me go play with those." But I don't think you'd have to hold her back.
Okay. Good.
Winnie is just going to continue walking and like just go to the tunnel at the other end. I don't think there's anything for us here. I mean, this is weird and kind of creepy, and what are these things doing here and who put them here, but I don't really see anything that's going to give us any information. I think we should just keep going.
Okay. As soon as you get within about 6 inches of the first line of robots, all of the ones in a 5-foot perimeter from you, so there's about 4 of them, stab you. And we're going to stop there for the day, and we will be starting our
Excuse
next
me?
session with a roll for initiative.
What?
Stab us with their rocks and metal bits?
Yeah, they all have
Stab
arms,
Winnie.
and they're gonna like take a whack at Winnie with their arms. They're gonna drop what they have and just sort of attack Winnie.
No.
And that's where we're gonna end it for the day.
Well,
Welcome to the
All
Caverns
right.
of Worneer. Okay, so Stream. we're going to go over what they have learned today. And then we're going to go over role-playing moments. The role-playing moments are things that happened in this last session that we really felt were really solid, good moments. They don't have to be happy or sad. It can be whatever. I accept nominations from chat. So if you had any moments tonight that you were like, this was awesome, chuck it in there. Chuck it in chat. And the players will all vote on it. Before we do that, we're going to talk to the players about what they learned this evening. So, y'all, what did you learn this evening?
I learned that Winnie just means business, and it isn't hanging around for hesitation.
Got it. What else did you learn?
I'd like to append to that.
Mm-hmm.
Winnie's steadfastness is usually usually good and appreciated and great, but it sometimes gets her into trouble.
Like getting stabbed by an army of 1-foot-tall robots.
It's only 4 of them.
But more are incoming.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think the part I'm so taken back by is how sudden it was. Like, even I'm no stranger to Spoon's cliffhangers, but how
Do you like my
how
cliffhangers?
normal and safe, and there was no issues in this whole place. It was just nothing.
We threw a spoon
so
and nothing
simple.
happened.
I know, but a
Yeah.
spoon is made of metal, and so are
It's
these
a cute,
guys.
sad robot, another cute, sad robot. No, now you're getting stabbed. Goodbye.
It was a jump scare.
Yes.
I'm just imagining all these little baby Yoda-sized robots just like running and attacking my ankles.
Yes. Definitely ankle biters for sure.
I think I learned that there are things I don't understand, and I really was confident in my training in this plane,
Mhm.
in this plane, like, but I can't explain these tunnels, I can't explain these carvings, and I can't explain the archways and the robots, or even the metal. And so that's a bit disconcerting, especially as I watch my new traveling companion, beautiful blue skin, potentially get stabbed by these little Yodas, metal Yodas.
How long is the effect of the armor spell that was cast at the beginning?
Oh yeah,
that
how
you
long
make up?
does Armor of Radiance last?
Oh, 8 hours.
So she's good.
Okay, good.
What else did you learn
We're
this
on
evening?
the 5th hour, I think. We're on the 5th hour in journeying into these tunnels, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The 4th
Yeah.
hour, end of the 4th hour.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Also, I can
Okay.
use it unlimited.
Yes, but as far as like time goes,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're at like at
we
the end of the
spent
4th
4
hour.
hours going inside.
Yeah, you're almost at hour 5. Yeah.
And we know that this was one continuous path. Was it straight the entire time, or did it curve?
It took turns at various points.
No, it didn't take any turns. It felt it was very straight, but it seemed to be going
Oh, maybe
down.
I'm just thinking at the beginning.
The
Yeah, it
first
only
2 or
took
3
one.
hours were
Okay.
straight.
Yeah.
And it would be utterly dark.
Yes, if you didn't have Yume's light umbrella.
Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense for that long of a structure. Like, to walk, like, that's a couple miles underground
Mm-hmm.
through to wherever, so there's probably some weird magic stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
We learned that
We
the
found-
kids have very cryptic rhyming, and now I think Battle is
Something-
wondering if the children were even real.
Ooh. And yeah, I'm definitely still wondering about clocks and time and 12 and hands that point and all of those things.
Yeah, Spoon, like,
Clockwork.
clocks are a real thing in the world, right? Like, they've
Yes.
been invented. It's
Yes.
not... Okay. So it's not unrealistic for us to assume that the 12 glyphs around the entrance are based off of, like, whether it's true or not. It's not bad for us to assume that as characters that it's based
Something
off of
to
a
do
clock.
with clockwork.
No, that's not weird because clocks are absolutely a thing. I don't even think it's the kind of thing where like rich people would necessarily have them. I think clocks are just a thing.
Okay.
We found a second cog currently and begrudgingly. Winnie, in Glutton for Punishment style, is carrying both of them, which might be part of the robot attack. Unclear. But it is marked by the third marking around the door frame, which there are 12.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it feels like I'm playing a conspiracy theorist.
I'm enjoying it.
Did the original
Yeah, I would say
cog
that's
have
what I
more
learned about
glyphs in it?
battle tonight, is that everything is a threat, and everything is a conspiracy, and everything is going to kill us.
What
Yeah,
time did we start in the tunnels?
We don't know. We
like
don't know.
during the day.
Early in the morning.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
you probably
like
got
eight.
you probably got into the cabins around like 7 or 7:30. Like you started.
The sun
pretty-
was rising.
was up. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yume, I heard you ask if the
So
original clock
these
had.
robots are attacking at noon. Just saying.
Yume, I heard you ask if the original cog had any markings on it, and it didn't. It was very, very clean. No markings at all. Okay, anything else you learned, or are you ready to start chatting through role-playing moments?
I technically learned that you don't like to engage the animals in plot line when we're about to enter battle.
Oh my god, you could send Shy in there. That's totally fine. Shy would fit through those little holes and will follow instructions, but the turtle that came out of the Deck of Wonder is a turtle.
Thank you for letting me keep her beyond an hour.
It's okay. She's cute and I love her. I love Red. She's adorable. She is a turtle. All right. Anything else you learned? Are you ready to go into role-playing points or moments?
I feel like there was the main role-playing moment was Winnie, like, head down, adventure on, I'm in.
Yeah, she
She's
really
on a
did.
mission.
She really did drive the. Okay, we're gonna keep going now. Yeah, I liked that. That was helpful. Other good role-playing moments. Well, just as a GM, like it's helpful to like somebody being like, "We are
Although
continuing
Yumi's
now." You know,
umbrella was super cool too.
when she casts light on it.
That's very cool. That feels Studio Ghibli cool.
It
When
is
you
very
said
studio.
the holes that the robots were coming out of, I was actually thinking of Spirited Away and the little holes in the floor where the soot balls come out of.
Love it.
Do y'all picture the
So that's a
kind of
DM.
sunlight coming off the tip of the umbrella, or like off of the whole, like the whole
In
body
my
of it?
head, it was the whole thing was glowing.
Yeah, that's in my head too.
See, in
'Cause
my head, it was like an open umbrella and only the inside glowed, but it created like this ring of light.
Oh, I love that.
oh, I like that too.
What did you think,
I
Yume?
vote for
Yeah,
that.
Yume, what did you think?
I didn't really. That's why I was asking. I didn't decide one way or the other until now.
What is it now? What do you like? What do you want it to be now?
I think I like most the whole outside of the, like, not the handle of it, but the whole.
Yeah, I saw it as like a
Outside of it.
lamp, like the
The
umbrella
canopy.
was like the a lamp
lamp
shade
shade.
and the light was coming through it. Okay.
I
Other
like that
good
better
role-playing
also
moments.
because my version was creeping me out, where it was very dark behind us and only in front can you have the light.
I imagine with your image, I imagine all of you like clustered under the umbrella, like you know, like
That's what I was
It was-
imagining. It was making me
It was a
more
fun
paranoid.
image. But
Was.
it wouldn't be great for adventuring.
No, it would not. Okay, other good role playing moments.
I just think we're not really allowed to nominate you, our DM, but the the little robots and their little designs were so cool, and the way they wore out the grooves in the floor. And
I have been thinking about this for months. When did we start down
They
here?
make me
they were
sad.
so cool.
I have literally been thinking about these robots for months.
I'm
glad
looking
you like
forward to having it all pieced together and having it make more sense. Right now, I'm just confused and sad about them.
I'm sorry. They're really cute, though. Other good role-playing moments. Are you ready to vote? I did not get any role-playing moments from chat.
I think those are our 2 this week.
Okay,
I'm having trouble coming up with them tonight.
that's okay.
Today.
You walked
Tonight.
down a long hallway. So you've got 2. You've got
I
Winnie.
enjoyed our snatching of cogs, but I feel like that was more for personal
Oh
experience.
no,
than
some
roleplay
tiny
fun.
ones. I liked how, I think we kind of already covered this, but I liked how forceful Winnie was being. I think that's kind of covered.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I also liked Battle's mom arming the group. I think that also wraps into the suspicion, but it was a moment that stands out.
And when she was taking the shawl off and then on and then off and then on,
Yeah.
that was very entertaining.
We don't need dice.
Aw, puppy.
He's a good puppy, though. Hi, Alice. Okay, so we've got 3. Winnie head down, adventure on, must continue. Yume casting light on her umbrella and battles. Mom arming the group to keep them from touching the first robot, plus the shawl suspicion.
Winnie.
So I'm looking for 4 votes here, and I've got 2. Go ahead and vote. Got 3.
I look forward to everybody
Got
finding
4.
out why Winnie does these things.
This is wonderful, yeah. So Winnie's gonna take the role-playing point for being head down, adventuring on, and must continue.
Which,
Yeah!
Winnie, you will remember to use when you are being stabbed by small robots.
I don't know, I feel like the small robots are about to be the least of our worries.
Okay.
Giant loom monsters.
Well, I want to remind you that y'all asked me for something that was that had a bit more structure to it than like a straight role-playing thing. So this is gonna be, I think, the first dungeon y'all officially go into. As I wouldn't call it a dungeon really, but it's underground and it's, you know, room progression. So I think this will be kind of fun. I do want you to know that I went completely ridiculous, and my good friend Rosie reined me in. So instead of spending 3 years down here, we will hopefully only spend a couple of sessions. But I was really excited about this concept. It joined the lore, and some of the brunches I've done since I came up with this concept have actually fed this lore. So I'm very excited about it.
May I ask permission to bend the rules a little bit?
You can ask, yeah, tell me more. What's up?
Can I spend my unused inspiration on my initiative roll for next session?
Yes, I will let you do that for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, the reason I'm okay with that is because it is a cliffhanger. Like, if there were, like, a solid, we're in an in moment, and can I maybe do it, you know, if on my next, if we do initiative, that I wouldn't be as into, but I definitely, the reason I ended it like this is because we are so close to time, and I do not like ending sessions in the middle of fights, and I will do anything, including end early, to not do that. So, I'm making a call on that. I'll totally allow that, I think. Can you remind me? Actually, I'm going to write it down.
Not a big boon, just we didn't have too many rolls tonight.
No, and I really
didn't think to use inspiration on a history check.
Well, and you rolled pretty well for that. That worked for the story, and I really like it when you guys use these. So coming up with creative ways to use them makes a lot of sense to me. You were the first group that were really like, we really want to be able to give these to other people, and I really want them to be used more. So yeah, I'm totally into that. All right, well, that's officially our session. I like ending by asking anybody if you can be found anywhere else over the next week. Is there anything you want stream to check out? Are you doing any talks? Are you going to be playing in any other games? Are you speaking at a convention of some kind? Anything like that?
I guess.
Go ahead.
Well, there's this place called Star Institute, which is a non-profit, and you can find them on Twitter, you can find them on social media, and they're really interested in supporting health professionals to understand sensory health, but they're also doing a course soon on LGBTQIA, how to support your clients who have those experiences, which, you know, more and more we need to be able to do, and need to be able to do it well and in an informed and supportive way. And so we're doing with this amazing psychologist called Dr. Sarah Hayes.
Gosh, what is
a survey at the moment that you can fill out and tell Star Institute what you need, so that we can design the best course to meet your needs, so that you can meet your client needs. And I think I'm going to highlight that right now.
That's a wonderful thing to highlight. That's a wonderful thing. I fully support this. I love the idea that there are going to be more therapists out there that can help that community. The first time I went and saw a therapist, and she was like, I just want to let you know, I am queer and I can speak to you about the queer experience, and I just want you to be comfortable with that. And I was like, thank God, you know, like, how do you talk about that with a therapist that doesn't know how to handle that? So I love that. I think that's amazing.
Yay!
And Sarah plays Battle, so just for the record, she was referring to Battle. So anybody else want to share anything they're doing?
So I'm doing that. I'm going to be speaking at Wonder Women of the Games Industry on Friday with Epiphany. Yes. So I'll probably be tweeting out social media details on that later.
Great.
Because I'm about to... Yeah, go ahead.
Because do we have to register for something, or can we just stream that?
I think it's a stream, yeah. I think you just go and watch it with Epiphany's stuff.
Love it.
And then I am about to hop on and play some Stardew on Dashmaker's stream.
Oh, like after this?
Back to back, yeah.
Oh, I'll do a raid if Dashmaker puts their stream up before we end.
Oh,
I can raid with my tiny viewers, my tiny and wonderful viewership. I've never done a raid before, so I'll figure it out. Great. That'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be fun. And then, okay, so tomorrow I have a guest, Sabriel Maston. I don't know how to pronounce their last name.
Yep.
I'm very excited about. They're going to be playing Brunches and Dragons with me tomorrow morning, so definitely check that out. I have no idea what their character is, as per usual, because I don't look until the morning of, because I'm working on my improv skills. And then Treasure Tuesday should be back on Tuesday, although I do want to announce a schedule change. We will be moving Treasure Tuesday to Wednesday in 2 weeks. And no, I will not be changing the name of the show because I like it. So it will continue to be Treasure Tuesday. It will just be on Wednesday. That's just going to be the way it is for a little while.
1 week?
No, it's going to be that way for a bit. We are helping Bard and Barbarian accommodate a special guest of theirs, but they run their games shorter. I run persistent campaigns, so it's possible it'll move back to Tuesday, but we're going to leave it like this for now. Tuesdays are actually really tough days for me to run games, so it might be permanent. It depends on work schedules and stuff. Yeah. And then I think we're doing Broken Bay next Saturday, but I will check in with the players, so hopefully we'll be back with that. And then of course I stream random games, so enjoy my random non-schedule for that. And I think we're done. You all ready to say bye, stream? Cool, let's do it. Bye, stream. Have a wonderful weekend.